Snafud is a podcast that contains adult themes and language. Listener discretion is advised. Hey guys, welcome back to Snafud, where the situation's normal, all fucked up. I'm Corey.
And I'm Shannon. And thanks for sticking with us through episode 1, where we talked about Creepy Carl Tanzler and the original Florida Man.
Yeah, we know that story is a bit out there, but we want to start the podcast off running and use that one.
And that's what it is. It's just another fucking normal day where someone just loves their corpses.
And just can't get enough. So like we were saying, he's probably the original Florida Man, and we're in Florida, so we're going to be covering a few different Florida stories just because it's local and we can get first-hand accounts.
And how can we help it? This is where all the craziest shit happens.
Yeah, and everything goes crazy in Florida. But, we're not going to be only focusing on the Florida Man. Today, we're actually turning our focus to the wide world of sports and athletes.
Yeah, so episode 2, maybe stick to sports. We're going to be discussing 2 different stories of 2 different athletes who veered away from their professional jobs and made huge mistakes.
And, we've all been there. Like, even if you're a casual sports fan, you're from Boston like I am, you have your team, you know your athletes, you know your team, you know your town. And the second someone from that team does something wrong, you kind of feel betrayed a little bit. You get into that not necessarily hero worship, but you start to like who these people are, and they'll make that bad call and get dinged for it.
I mean, I think we've all watched certain sports heroes completely dive into just so much shame that you've lost all respect for them. You've lost respect for their team. Yeah, you do feel betrayed. Like, what about O.J. Simpson?
Yeah, O.J., I was young when that was going on, so for me it was more Tiger Woods.
So, for my parents to have watched him go from a superstar football player to being in, some of their favorite comedy movies, he was literally creating a character that the people loved. And then he turned around and did something so horrific that, with their love for him, people still stood by him until he basically threw out a book that was like, I did it, you fucking idiots. I don't know anyone that still supports OJ because he literally burned all of his bridges.
Yeah, and there's some times where things are in your control and there's some situations that are beyond your control, but still, when something like that happens, you think they're your hero for a bit. And then they kind of betray that trust you have. I
mean, maybe it's because these are people who, they have everything compared to what we see. Like, okay, we're just the average Joe Schmo, and here's this guy making millions. Why did he do this?
Yeah.
And it really does blow your mind sometimes when you just want to think about why someone even does the stupid fucking things that they do.
Yeah, but sometimes, like I said, it's in control or out of control. You still need to know why they've done it, and that's what we're going to be doing with 2 of our stories today.
Yeah, they're 2 completely different stories, but they both revolve around sports and the sports world. And so I'm going to start it off with my friend Bruno. Now, for the American, you might not hear the regular name Bruno and instantly freak out, but I'm pretty sure if you're from Brazil, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Bruno Fernandes das Dores de Souza, who we will only call Bruno. He's a Brazilian superstar goalie that has had an amazing career. And yet this story was brought to me by my Brazilian coworkers that I said, guys, what is something I should know that everyone should know and you think they would know, but nobody seems to have heard about it? And they were like, you have got to go check out Bruno.
Yeah, I've never heard of this story, so it's going to be new for me too.
Well, buckle in because it gets crazy really, really fast.
All right.
So just to give you a little background in Bruno, and maybe because you might not know him, or maybe you're not a huge football, or soccer fan, you might not know a lot about him. And we're not going to, drag you guys down into a huge thing about sports and this and that, because I don't know that you care. So we will give you the reason why he's so important. Bruno was born on December 23rd, 1984, in the Ribeirão das Neves. And like many young people in Brazil, he found his passion in playing football. He would become a really excellent goalie. So in his youth career, he boasted to have begun playing basically professional youth soccer in 2001 with the football club Tombints. They actually went on to win their division in 2002, but that's actually the year Bruno had already left them to begin his senior career with the Atletico Mineiro. In 2006, Bruno signed Media Sports Investments, and he was speculated to make a deal worth around €2 million plus 15% on any future deal.
Well, that's not a bad gig.
That's a fucking great gig.
Yeah.
And he goes on to sign a contract that year with the Corinthians. But here's the thing with Bruno. As good as he is, he thinks he should always be number one. Like, he should already be... Yeah, he already thinks he should be out there on the field, like, every game. And unfortunately for him, when he joins the Corinthians, the manager, Emerson Leao, he refused to actually play Bruno because he preferred his original keeper, Marcelo, who was like their local boy, who was already on the team. So without ever even playing a match for the Corinthians, they go ahead and loan out Bruno to Flamengo, probably because he's casting a huge hissy fit over not being able to get played.
Yeah, he sounds like the type of guy already who's going to be throwing fits about anything.
So Bruno gets really lucky because the same week that he arrives to his new team, the first goalkeeper for the new team, Diego, suffers an injury. So Bruno right away gets to step into his place, and he gets to step into his place as the first position goalie, and he quickly impresses the crowd. I mean, he becomes a fan favorite, especially on his penalties. So, if you don't know a lot about soccer, you do know at least one thing. Goalies stay in the goal.
Yeah, they really do.
They're at the ends, right? Yep. Like, within 4 years, Bruno manages to get 4 goals under his belt as a goalie. So, 2008, Flamengo cemented their deal with Bruno. They offered him a contract of €3 million. In April of 2008, Bruno scores his first goal from a free kick. He gets a second goal in 2008, a third goal in 2009, and then a fourth goal in 2010. I mean, those are just, as a goalie, it's a really big fucking deal.
Yeah, that's all unheard of. I mean, granted, for penalty kicks, they can probably throw whoever they want, but the second that ball gets in play again, it's in play. You don't have time to wait, and he needs to get back to the goal.
And plus, like, all your end hopes end up on that goalie. Oh my God, stop that ball. Oh my God, Stop it. So... life's really good for Bruno. I mean, the guy comes from very little, and he's a millionaire.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's married to a beautiful woman. They've got 2 daughters together, and he's like a popular local hero. Just like probably every athlete star dreams, hopes, prays to become.
Yeah, you go walk into Boston, you walk in New York City, you see anyone from the Sox or the Yankees, it's going to be the same kind of... In Brazil, they're going to have probably twice as much fan favoritism for Bruno than we do for... our baseball players here.
Yeah, because baseball's starting to get boring. Life is good. So that's Bruno starts doing really good things with himself, right?
Yeah, of course, right?
Fuck that. Let's not do any good for, like, our surroundings or my family or anything like that. No, well, Bruno makes millions and is a popular star. He feels like he needs to be spending his extra time at marathon 24-hour sex parties.
Oh, that's great. So he's doing orgies.
Yeah, he's having gigantic orgies. And they're literally just parties where beautiful women would, air quote, volunteer, air quote, to have sex without commitment with these stars. Like, hey, you're pretty, we'll probably pay you to show up, you can fuck this guy, maybe you might even be able to become his girlfriend, who knows.
Yeah.
So he's going to these 24-hour sex parties, and in May 2009 he goes to one that's held by his teammate Paulo Victor, and he meets a woman named Eliza Souza. She's gorgeous. She's 24 years old. She's a model, and she had been previously connected with Cristiano Ronaldo, so she's kind of like a soccer,
Groupie?
Basically.
Yeah.
I mean, every sports has them. So once they meet, the two really hit it off. They quickly become attracted to each other, and they actually do start up a relationship.
Isn't he married, though?
Yeah, he's married with 2 kids, but that didn't stop him from going to 24-hour sex parties.
That's true.
God, how do you go? Like, I just get bored. Aren't you bored? There must be a lot of cocaine.
I don't think you stay for the whole 24 hours.
All right, so 3 months in, and there's a broken condom. And Eliza ends up being pregnant.
Oh, yeah, that tends to happen.
Yeah, that does tend to happen when those things break. But when Eliza comes to Bruno with the news that, she's pregnant, it's his, he demands that she gets an abortion.
Of course. I mean, it's not his wife, so...
Yeah, this looks bad. Unfortunately for Bruno, Eliza's going to refuse. Okay? And I don't know why. Maybe she really did want the baby. Maybe this is just her meal ticket. Either way, in the end... I feel like it's her choice if she wants to carry the baby through or not.
Yeah, of course.
5 months into her pregnancy, Bruno actually has 2 of his friends kidnap Eliza. They pull up, drag her into a car. They force her to take illegal drugs
Jeez.
in order to make her abort the baby at 5 months. Thank God Eliza survives and so does the baby.
Well, that's good news.
Yeah, so the attack didn't actually work out. And Eliza did go to the police while she was pregnant, and she filed against Bruno for the attack because, yeah, it's his friends, but come on, Bruno set this up.
He's definitely the one who's leading it, yeah.
And so what happens with that? Well, fucking nothing happens with that. So in February 2010, she gives birth to her son, Brunino, which is just little Bruno.
Yeah.
And Eliza then has a DNA test administered to the baby, and it proves beyond a doubt that Bruno is the father. So after she's proven this, she files a paternity suit against him. And 4 months after she did that, she and her baby just disappear.
That's not good.
No. So eventually, little Bruno is actually he's found abandoned in one of the southeast Brazilian slums, and the police took Bruno in for questioning once the baby got found. And they're asking, "Where's Eliza? Where's the mother?" And he just tells them that she's simply left the country. And Eliza's family and friends are literally not fucking having that.
Of course not.
They're like, "That's in no way true. We're not going to believe it." They say that Eliza's a very loving mother. She would never just abandon her child and disappear. Which, again, his story is so fucking stupid. Oh, yeah, she just left the country. Where? I don't know.
Yeah.
What country? I don't know.
You'd think you'd know a little bit more.
It's such bullshit. So they actually search Bruno's car, and the police found bloodstains, a pair of sandals, and women's sunglasses. Everything you need to take a car to the beach.
Yeah, of course.
Fuck that. Bruno was quoted in an interview at this time, quote, "I pray that Eliza will appear, and when that happens, if I am the father, I will fight for the guardianship because I don't believe in leaving a child. I have a clear conscience."
Yeah, sure you do, buddy.
Bullshit, 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 bullshit. She's already told him this is your baby. Hey, here's the DNA test.
Yeah, he's trying to...
And he was like, "No." So it seems the search started to turn futile, even though they have all this evidence of literally her blood in the car and her clothing in the car. They just say there's not a lot to go on because there's no body. There's no sign of where Eliza is.
Yeah.
And so while the police are investigating Eliza's disappearance, Bruno is finally, hey, remember she went ahead and had that fucking baby?
Yeah.
Yeah, now Bruno is finally charged over the claims of having her abducted when she was 5 months pregnant and trying to force her abortion. And so he's actually sentenced to 4.5 years in jail, and Bruno gets suspended from his football team for that event.
See, that's what I hate about pro athletes, is that the teams will only do the bare minimum because they're looking at their bottom dollar and what happens, but...
More importantly, why did it literally take them almost a year?
Yeah, if there's suspicion, I would drop a player. If I was a coach and a manager of a team, I would drop a player if there's suspicion about them doing some kind of wrongdoing.
No, dude, not even that. But why does it take a year for the police to do anything?
I don't know.
Eliza would be safe right now if she had gone to the police, said he kidnapped me, he abused me, he tried to force an abortion on me. Go deal with him right now.
Yeah.
She'd probably still be here. But instead, while Bruno's awaiting this trial for the disappearance of Eliza, which is going to happen in 2013, Bruno tries to commit suicide at least twice. And unfortunately, neither time worked out. So, in the court, prosecution claims that Bruno had arranged the murder of Eliza after she had taken legal action in order to get child support.
Yeah.
Because that's his final line. That's my money, bitch. So, Initially, Bruno protested in innocence, but eventually he breaks down during the trial and said that he did not make it he didn't make the order to kill Eliza, but that he did accept her murder and he knew she'd been killed. And then he's like sobbing like a little bitch, and he's saying that a loyal friend had commissioned her murder for $8,000.
I don't know if I believe that. Plus $8,000. Like, you can't. I don't want to even start getting into the dichotomy of trying to like put a price on life, but $8,000, nothing for a life. I don't know.
Yeah, here's a used car, or let's go kill this lady. Like, to put...
Maybe I have a conscience, but...
So to have a millionaire who's just, like, sobbing like a little child because suddenly now he's going to be in deeper problems.
Yeah.
You didn't see him sobbing when Eliza disappeared. You didn't see him sobbing when they found his child, like, abandoned in a slum.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
they have a nerve now.
Yeah, he's in trouble. He's upset about himself. Okay, so lucky for us, right?
Yeah.
Bruno's not the only one to be involved with this murder. So, funny enough, he involves everyone. He involves his wife. He involves his other girlfriend.
He's a great person.
Yeah, his buddies. And he definitely involves his underage teenage cousin who, under pressure of all this, confesses to just everything that happened.
Well, that sounds about right. That's what I would be doing. I mean, if I was a teenager, I'm not going to stand up to all that stuff. I'd probably do exactly what I'm supposed to do.
So before I ruin the story for you guys, just remember, this is what everyone is believing in Bruno. Bruno knows that Eliza's been killed. He didn't make the call. He's just accepted it, and he knows the price of it, right?
Yeah.
Here's the real story. After little Bruno was born, Eliza had filed for child support, and Bruno did not agree that he was even the father, and he had already made it clear that he wanted like nothing to do with this baby. After she files her paperwork with the proof that it's her baby, Bruno has convinced 7 people, again, his friends, teenage cousin, the wife, the other lover, and a former police officer named Marcos Santos to help him get rid of his problem.
Yeah, he pulls in everybody.
Eliza's walking down the street with little Bruno, and Bruno's car pulls up, and she's lured over to the car under the premise that if she gets in the car and comes with them, that she's going to go to Bruno's house, and he is now ready to provide her with an apartment. He's going to give her child support, just basically everything she's been asking for. So once she gets in the car, she is pistol whipped. She and the baby were driven to Bruno's home.
Okay.
So they drag Eliza out to a shed on Bruno's property. They strap her to a chair, and they beat her repeatedly for 6 days in that chair. It's said that the former cop Santos was the one to commit all the torture on Eliza, while Bruno literally pulled up a chair and just sat and watched him do it.
That's terrifying.
And
terrible.
While they're torturing her, the group is playing like super loud music in order for the neighbors not to hear the agonizing screams coming from their property. So not only are you getting like tortured to death and like just getting beaten to a pulp for 6 fucking days, you gotta listen to probably some terrible fucking house music just drowning you out. Ugh.
Yeah.
I don't know what's worse. So then eventually after the 6 days, I guess they had enough fun with her and they decided to strangle her to death with a tie in front of her baby.
That's,
I mean,
nope.
That's such psychological bullshit. I mean, the baby's not going to remember this.
Yeah, hopefully not.
But here's a new mother who's just been beaten for 6 days, and they just literally are killing her.
Yeah.
Killing her as she can watch her baby, knowing, like, she has no idea what they're going to do with it next.
Yeah.
She does die, and then on Bruno's own orders, Eliza is chopped up into teeny tiny pieces and put into black garbage bags, because that's all he thinks of her, is she's trash. He tells one of the friends that helped in this murder that he needs to go carry it out to Bruno's kennels. And that's where he keeps his 10 Rottweilers.
Oh, boy.
And this is my own little PSA. Do not blame the dogs. How hungry does a dog have to be to eat whatever piece of meat you give it?
Yeah, I mean...
So it's not their fault that they're Rottweilers. In fact, Rottweilers are probably one of the most friendliest, wonderful animals you can ever ask to have in your home. They will protect you to the end. Not their fault. Okay, that little rant's over. So they do start feeding the pieces to the Rottweilers. Like, he literally remembers, like, first it's our hand, and then bit by bit until everything that is Eliza is thrown over into the dog kennels until there's nothing left of her but bones.
Ugh.
And then they took those bones and they buried them somewhere, and they covered that with concrete.
That's one way to hide a body.
Well, they still haven't fucking found her, so yeah.
Yeah.
No body, no murder, right? So the day Bruno goes into court to face the murder charges in 2013, he told reporters that he had a clear conscience, and that in the future he would be able to laugh at this. It's real funny, haha.
No, yeah.
Bruno is literally sentenced to 22 years and 3 months in jail for the kidnap, torture, and murder of Eliza. And all of the people who helped him also received sentences between 5 years and 22 years. And that's where the story would usually just end. I mean, right? We've punished him. He's going away for 22 years. And in a story, right? We've done the correct criminal procedures.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Except for...
22 years seems kind of short, but...
for brutally murdering and killing somebody. I agree. But instead, he's still got 15 years to serve, and Bruno's lawyers managed to get a Supreme Court justice to release Bruno in February of 2017 based on an injunction granted by Minister Marco Aurelio Mayo of STF. Basically, the short version of that story is he gets to leave prison pending an appeal.
Okay.
So there's an appeal. We haven't decided whether or not it's true and he's not guilty, or he is still guilty, but I don't really get it. He could still literally walk out of jail.
I don't know. I don't want to sound rude, but maybe it's just the way that country works.
I really hope that Americans don't let that happen. I mean,
Americans let a lot worse happen.
So then, while he's walking out on this appeal, Eliza's mother actually files a suit against his release, and that gets denied. And she literally makes common sense. She is terrified of this man. She knows he killed her daughter.
Yeah.
And she's the one still taking care of little Bruno. And so she files a suit against this, and they're like, fuck you, no. And they let him loose.
Yeah.
So February 2017, Bruno gets to walk out of prison celebrating with his friends and his family. He's drinking champagne. He's even quoted saying, quote, "I want to make it clear that even if I stayed here and was given life imprisonment, for example, in Brazil, it would not bring the victim back. I paid dearly. It was not easy. This will help me as an experience. It has been a learning experience, not a punishment."
I can't with that. No, you just...
I want to beat him over the face with a chair.
Yeah.
Until it fucking breaks. The things he says are so clear that he does not feel bad about this, that he does not care about Eliza, that everything that's going on is just, it's a punishment to him. It's just unfortunate that it's happening to him.
Yeah.
Fuck this guy. Well, typical March. So he gets out in February, right? On March 10th of 2017, he gets to sign another contract with the club Boa Esportes until 2019. And thank God, as a result of this, 3 companies had the decency to walk away from that club.
Well, I mean, if you're hiring a convicted, or a criminal, and it's like a murder, it's not just a regular crime, it's murder. No,
they literally watched this guy who's still technically convicted and is not technically, not guilty, get signed on to $1 million contract, back to play football again, and I commend these 3 companies. I mean, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's a fuck ton of money. I asked another sports guy the other day, I was like, how hard would it be for someone to walk away, from a sports club once you have all these deals? I mean, there's contracts, there's millions of dollars going into this.
Yeah.
I mean, seats alone to go to a soccer game is just fucking ridiculous.
It really is.
For your advertisement to be at one of these clubs, that's a good deal for you. Mm-hmm. And these guys who had the morals to say, fuck that, you hire murderers, women killers, you guys should support these 3 companies as much as possible. And they are Cardio Center, Nutrients Nutrition, and something called Magsol, which I can only imagine makes Magnum size con. I don't know. But look, support them. They had the balls to walk away from millions of dollars over their morals, and kudos to them.
Yeah, definitely.
So they end their partnership with the club, And in response, the Boa Esportes president, Rone Moraes da Costa, who's a fucking idiot, he defends his club's actions on hiring the murderer. So he said, quote, Boa Esporte was not responsible for the release and freedom of the athletes. And then he claims that the club was attempting to, quote, do justice by helping a human being who seeks to recover.
Yeah.
Bull fucking shit.
That's not how it works.
My favorite thing, though, you guys, is the Mr. President here keeps putting his fucking foot in his mouth because he's an idiot. And he also said, you have to show people that what Bruno did wasn't correct, but that he has the right to return to society. I am someone who likes a challenge. Boa is not doing anything wrong. Boa is not a court of justice. Boa is an entity in the world of sports. And Bruno knows how to play football.
So as long as you know how to do a sport good, you can do whatever you want.
My favorite part, what Bruno did wasn't correct.
Yeah, that's
like when your kid steals a piece of gum and you drag them back into the store and you make them apologize.
Yeah.
Not when somebody fucking murders and hacks a person up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good for this president because he just keeps putting his fucking foot in his mouth and making it really clear that he doesn't care what his players do as long as they make him money.
Yeah.
So all of this time, Eliza's mother, Sonia, has actually been caring for little Bruno, who at this point in time, he's now 7. And she says the boy knows that his birth father is in jail for killing a person, but he doesn't know who that is.
Yeah.
Well, makes sense. He's 7. Don't torture a child. And so when Bruno was actually released, she was terrified that Bruno would follow through with his promise to try and take custody of the boy in order to seek payment for him. But after his release, he literally didn't show up. He didn't show any interest in the kid. As he had claimed before, that went out the window. He actually doesn't give a shit. All she wants to do is protect this little boy. So according to her, in the boy's eyes, the real father is his grandfather who's helping to raise him right now.
Well, that's at least good.
So on April 25th of 2017, Bruno does face his appeal, so just 2 months later. Fabio Gama, his lawyer, he requested the annulment of the trial and questioned the validity of Eliza's death certificate. And the defendant alleged in the infringements that the overdue vote given by the judge, which ordained the annulment of the 2 judgments, was correct. So that's a lot of confusing jargon. What his lawyer is saying is basically no body equals false death certificate. So no body, no murder, false paperwork. Bruno should get out of jail.
Yeah, it's not really how it works. There's millions of ways to get rid of a body.
Yeah, but the thing is they have never found her. In the first trial, the judge or somebody really pushed forward to get an actual death certificate written up for Eliza.
Yeah.
And that was used against him in court to send him to jail. And so all they're saying is, how can you write a death certificate when you can't even find the body? You can't even prove to us that she's dead.
Yeah.
Also, at the same time of his appeals court is his girlfriend's appeal. And that's Fernanda Castro. So remember his other, okay, that blows my mind. How can you be this guy's other girlfriend, help kill his other girlfriend,
with
and not
his wife?
Yeah, with his wife, and not expect him to fucking turn on you?
I just don't understand how some of these people think, and it's probably all for it's probably all the better.
It's for the better. You shouldn't be a psychopath.
Yeah.
Fernanda is basically fighting her trial because during her original trial, the prosecution showed a picture of Eliza's son holding a picture of his mother. And they're just basically saying that it really technically didn't have anything to do with the trial, and it was just a way to affect the jury. It was detrimental to the defendant without actually providing anything for
Sounds
the
like
trial
psychological
itself.
Torture.
Good, she should be tortured.
I'm not saying she shouldn't.
But that's actually more of a common sense argument. So basically it comes down to a vote of 5 guys, and the vote goes 4-1 against Bruno.
Yeah, as it should.
As it should. And it also works in Fernanda's case. So Bruno gets another sentencing, and he's sentenced to 22 years and 3 months in prison for the death and concealment of Eliza's corpse, but now his new sentence is going to be reduced down to 20 years and 9 months in prison. And so I guess maybe they were like, yeah, you're right, but you're still a piece of shit, so we, like, took 3 years off.
Yeah.
And then for his girlfriend, she actually is released from prison. She is sentenced, originally she was sentenced to 3 years in prison, but now her penalty is replaced with paying cash and doing community service. Right. So someone who helped to torture, murder, and cut up a body is now just hanging out in your neighborhood. Picking up trash and looking like a great citizen. And that's the story of Bruno.
That one just blows my mind. Like, it's not as bad as Carl, but I mean, Carl didn't kill somebody. Carl actually loved,
like, in a way, if you could say it, Carl loved this woman and would have done anything for her. This guy who doesn't deserve his millions and millions of dollars, like, literally would have thrown everybody under the bus. And instead, he's crying on the stand because he's the one getting punished.
He's got millions of dollars. Paying child support
would be nothing.
It would be nothing. And, like, he just made the wrong call on this one. Like, I mean, obviously it's the wrong call. Like, if you have millions of dollars and you made a mistake to get someone pregnant that's out of your marriage and you don't want to handle that, you just pay, like, don't
just take care
kill
of it.
Somebody.
Just fucking take care of it. Like
an adult, not like a murder.
Send her a check and be like, you know what, leave me alone.
Yeah.
But he wanted everything to be his way. I mean, he literally told the press, this is not a punishment for me.
Yeah.
You know what? I hope that you don't try and commit suicide again when you're back in jail. I hope someone just takes care of you.
Yeah, just like you did.
Just like you did, Bruno. I mean, that literally... Yeah. I would feel so betrayed if I was a soccer fan of Flamingo and watched them rehire his ass.
Yeah.
And be like, really? Really? That I would quit watching them. I would completely burn all of my gear and I would switch to a whole new team.
Yeah.
Like, fuck those guys. And yeah, I'm in my feelings over it. So whatever. So
now between, now is when we would have ads, but we don't have any ads right now.
Yay, lucky for you.
We want to let you guys know we are on social media. So if you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, we're at Snafud with a D at the end podcast. So at SNAFUD podcast. And you'll be able to find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
It's just us, so if we respond, it really is us talking to you. I'm so lonely. Talk to me.
We're just we're just trying to make it fun for everybody and keep everyone involved and build a little community around our crazy podcast here. But we're gonna switch gears a little bit, guys, and move away from the world of soccer/football and into the wide world of professional wrestling.
Yes.
Now this story.
Corey wrestling.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
We're going to be telling you the story about Dino Bravo. And before we do, I want to give a shout out to one of my best friends, Brennan, who is a wrestling fanatic and has helped Shannon and I fine-tune the write-up for this so we know a little bit more about the finer avenues of wrestling. And without that, I don't know if I could necessarily cover this story.
And just to break it down a little bit to you guys, like, I know that when it came to football/soccer, we don't have to, tell you much about it. Like, the whole world loves it right now.
Yeah.
But when we were growing up, WWE, WWF, the Hulk, Andre the Giant. Oh my God, I'm so in love with Andre the Giant.
All of this stuff was really big in the news.
It wasn't just news, it was
big in society and the social, mindset.
I don't know any millennial that either didn't A, believe in wrestling, or B, spent half their recess time arguing with other kids about how fake wrestling was.
Oh yeah, I mean, we've all been there.
And it's making a huge comeback. My all-time new favorite wrestler is Kushida. It's really big Japanese professional wrestling. I got really sick on my last trip to DC and just got to watch some TV, and I literally turned it on just so I could watch this beautiful Asian wrestler.
That's what you were doing while I was doing work all day?
Yeah, I was watching this guy use his butt to just wrap people down into the oh my God, he does this. Oh, Kushida, I love you.
So that's Shannon. But yes, I'm going to tell you guys the story of Dino Bravo. And for those of you who do know, Dino Bravo is a Canadian wrestler. But for those of you who don't know, He's a Canadian wrestler.
There you go.
And we have very little information about Dino Bravo before he started his wrestling career. We know he was born as Adolfo Bresciano, and he was born in August 1948 over in Italy. And for those of you who know him, a lot of this stuff will be kind of review. But for those of you who don't, like myself, when I first heard about this story, a lot of it's going to be new information.
Like, literally, it's the wrestling pages who are keeping this man's memory alive.
Everything that we were able to filter through a bunch of wrestling websites for their blogs and their information about this guy. And sometime between 48 and 69, he moves to Canada because his family has a French-Canadian side. The wrestling name Dino Bravo that was taken over was originally belonged to another Italian-born Canadian in the 50s and 60s.
Who really was named Dino
Yeah,
Bravo.
who's really named Dino Bravo. And then Adolfo had adopted the moniker of that.
Which is, it's totally like a thing in wrestling.
It's
like
a thing in superheroes, too.
Yeah, I mean, if you look it up, there's supposed to be like 20 million Gorgeous George. Or like, it's just this thing where like these big names would just get reused.
It's a franchise in a way.
And it's not any kind of offensive thing. And it's not like his new name. It's just his wrestling moniker.
Yeah, it's just his moniker. So in 1970, he began training with Gino Brito, billing himself as Brito's cousin. And they also worked as a tag team. Now, like in wrestling, you have your tag team partner, but you don't stay with them exclusively. In Bravo, you work in a tag team, and Brito and Bravo are working together, and you end up working on a number of different tag teams because you're traveling around. You have like a Grand Prix. You have these different territories where wrestling happens. They're run by a different person, a show promoter, as you will. Bravo worked in the Montreal Grand Prix. He also came to the States to work in Los Angeles and the Mid-Atlantic territories. He ends up in Florida, ends up in a number of different places. Now, Dino's specialty, and this is going to get into a little bit of the wrestling world, is he's a face. He's a baby face. He's the hero, the good guy wrestler. Think Hulk Hogan versus, I don't know anyone what would be the opposite.
Andre the Giant.
Andre was a face for the most part until WrestleMania 3.
They wanted him to be. Well, what's it called when you're not a face?
You're a heel.
So a good guy is a baby face and a bad guy is a heel.
Yeah. Dino is typically a face rather, so he's the hero, and when he's in town, he's everyone's favorite. Now in 1974, he starts traveling to Europe. He has a little bit of success there. But at the end of the same year, he ends up working for the WWA, which is the Los Angeles territory, under the promoter Mike Bell. Again, I have a bunch of promoter names. Some of them will be mentioned, but they'll all be listed on our website so that we're giving everyone their due credit for what they've done in the past. In 75, Dino shows back up in Toronto. And he's also working in the Championship Wrestling in Florida, and he works in the Mid-Atlantic circuit.
And I got really confused, again, about what Corey was talking about when he said territories. And if it's going to help, like, the layman, the way I figured it out is, okay, America is really, really big.
Yeah.
So we have states, like a bunch of states. But when you put, say, several states together, it kind of makes up the same size of, say, like France or England or whatever. So that's what they've done. A territory is not just like Florida. Well, it could just be Florida.
Some states will be their own territory, but then you got regional.
But you got like the Mid-Atlantic, so you're going to hit like Georgia and like North Carolina and South Carolina and Virginia.
Up to Jersey, probably.
Yeah, and then you got like Vince McMahon Sr., who's like all the way up in New York, and he's got that area. So like what Corey's saying is like, if he just stays in Toronto and just does this over and over again, people are just going to stop watching. So if you're going to make a name for yourself, you got to be on the move constantly.
Yeah. And in 77, Dino actually shows up with the Worldwide Wrestling Federation.
WWWF.
Which is the precursor to the WWE that we all know and love today. So this is Vince McMahon's territory.
Senior.
Vince McMahon Sr. So Vince McMahon Sr. eventually sells to Vince McMahon Jr. It goes
He's so fucking hot.
It goes from WWF to WWF, then it loses a lawsuit against the World Wildlife Foundation and becomes the WWE.
Yeah, the panda wins.
Yeah, panda wins. And if you guys have seen that t-shirt of the panda holding a chair over another panda, it's the best t-shirt ever.
Can I have that t-shirt?
We can find it for you,
Oh
I'm sure.
God.
So Dino ends up in New York, and in 78, he's winning tag team titles with a partner named Dominic DeNucci against Toru Tanaka and Mr. Fuji.
That's like a huge fight that they had.
Yeah, that's a really big match, and obviously these are some big names for big people, because if you're naming yourself after a mountain, you better be a big man. Yeah. And we mentioned Andre the Giant earlier, and Dino actually got to tag team with Andre a few times. And there's American wrestling magazines that are saying that Dino could even become the successor to the great Italian champion Bruno Sammartino.
I mean, so basically, this is high praise.
Yeah, this is very high praise for this guy. In 79, he's winning Canadian NWA championship title twice. He ends up in the Atlanta area. He's jumping onto the AWA, which is run by Vern Gagne.
Gag me with a spoon.
It's Gagne. It's French. It's Vern Gagne. And he eventually becomes a contender for the World Championship title. Dino works in 79 until 81 under Gagne, and then he eventually returns back to Montreal to win his international title. So he's been doing a lot of work, even just in the 70s. Now we're stepping into the 80s, and it's a little bit of a new change. We got some new players that all of us are going to be looking into. In 1982, he's on a very big Asian tour where he wrestles against Hulk Hogan for the first time.
The Hulkster!
And, we all know Hulk. Anyone who grew up and is a millennial that's, worth anything knows who Hulk Hogan is.
Go do yourself a favor. Go watch the Hulk and Andre, wrestling match. I had a boyfriend show that to me, 5 years ago. I said I didn't believe him.
Yeah.
And he showed it to me, and it's literally is so fucking funny. And then the way he hulks out, his little shaky head. Oh, I love it. I love it so much.
So, he's wrestling against Hulk. He's teaming with Hulk. And there's also, during this time, he also wrestled against Abdul the Butcher. And this was a defining moment for Dino Bravo. We will have a video up on our website. Again, this is compliments of Brandon for pointing this out to us, just to show Dino's showmanship and how he works the crowd even in a different territory than his hometown.
Oh my god. So Corey and I watched this video, right? First of all, Abdul the Butcher doesn't look like what I expected at all.
No, he's not exactly. He's not at all.
But he is huge. The guy is big.
He's a big guy.
And so there's blood. The thing is wrestling fake? Yes. But is it a show? Yes.
Yeah.
But are there some actual real hits or some showmanship that causes things to happen to make it just seem really real?
Absolutely.
And it does. And so you watch this and you're literally watching the blood just go down the butcher's face. It's just crazy. And it's just watching two gigantic fucking mountains just belly
beat on each
butt
other.
Yeah, it's so good. Oh, please watch it on Earth.
Yeah, so definitely watch that. It'll be on our site. You can also find it on YouTube. We'll link it to we'll put up our YouTube of our own too. And
it was a defining fight for Bravo.
For Bravo, yeah. It was one of his big defining moments. And after the Asian tour, he returns back to Montreal, and he's ranked one of Montreal's best draws in history. So he's bringing in what that basically means, he's bringing in huge crowds. He's bringing in 18,000 people.
Sometimes.
Yeah, at times. And, his trainer, Gino Bravo, is saying that the guys in the preliminaries used to make $300 or $400 per night when Dino was on the card. It just says that, if Dino's going to be on the card for that night, it's going to be packed, and there's not going to be there's not going to be any seats. Between 83 and 86, these are really good years for Bravo. He's a giant in the wrestling world. He becomes a 4-time international champion. After about the first 10 years, after a 10-year period, he becomes recognized by 3 of the major wrestling federations across the United States as their Canadian champion. So like we were saying, he's traveling to all these different territories, making a name for himself, and his name for himself in other territories is showing up in this current one. In 83, he and Brito actually also launched a wrestling school called the Brito and Bravo Wrestling School, and they had Edouard Carpentier as the trainer. And
the school didn't work out.
The school didn't really work out so hot, and by 86, Bravo sold off his shares, and he sold off shares in international wrestling, and he left Montreal to join the WWF as a full-time performer. Now, the WWF, again, is what we know today as the WWE. This is the McMahon's legacy, both of them, not just one or the other. And this is the year, in 86, Bravo is set up to have a match against Hulk Hogan in Montreal. And this is where things kind of get a little bit tricky for Dino.
See, they're priming Hulk to be their new golden boy. From the moment Hulk Hogan walks onto the scene, they have a new plan for how the WWF is going to go. They have a new plan about how to make a hero a hero. Like, they want so many people, and that's why you and I remember them.
Yeah.
I mean, they accomplished that. But here's the problem. How do you make a hero beat up someone else's hero?
And that's the problem. So, like, if you're bringing Bravo to Montreal, that's his hometown. If he's losing, you're gonna lose a lot of money and a lot of face here for the WWF, because it's his hometown. They don't want to see him lose. It's just not gonna be good for business. So they canceled this match of Hogan versus Bravo on short notice. This was because McMahon didn't want to get their golden boy of Hulk Hogan.
Rumor.
Yeah, the rumor is that McMahon didn't want his new golden boy of Hulk Hogan to go to a crowd that's going to boo him for winning because he's beating their hometown hero. Which, again, that's advertising and that's running a business. But it's still, you're trying to run a storyline with WWF.
And Bravo's insulted by this.
Yeah, and he's insulted by it. He eventually leaves the WWF, and he eventually comes back about a year later. He's dyeing his hair, changes his appearance, joining a new stable, which... It just sounds kind of weird to say, but it's just a new training camp for him.
I was really disappointed. I thought it was like a male strip joint, Stables.
Yeah. Nope.
But okay, so Bravo actually gets the hint. Hey, the world of wrestling's changing. It's no longer just your dad in spandex. I mean, you look at some of the older professional wrestlers and they literally just look like your dad on a Saturday who drank too much and now he wants to wrestle your cousin.
Yeah.
It's really fucking weird. But then when Vince McMahon Jr. takes it over, he realizes what he can turn this whole thing into, and then so it's more glitz, it's more glam. It's not like a guy in a one piece
it's a big performance
suit.
piece now.
Yeah, you gotta flash yourself up to be worthwhile, and that's exactly what Bravo does.
When he comes back, for the first few months, he starts doing singles competitions, not dating, but just events where he's by himself doing his competitions. He starts picking up the strongman gimmick where he could bench press 500 pounds. And in 88, he actually attempts to bench press 715. And he gets a little help from Jesse the Body Ventura, who we all know as being a politician and a wrestler. And he helped lift the bar a little bit. But Bravo's kind of pushing that under the rug and still claiming he succeeded on that one, dubbing himself the world's strongest man.
I mean, it would have literally broken a world record had he accomplished it.
Oh, yeah. At this same point, Bravo's playing up his Quebecois identity, which is, any native of Quebec. He's wearing a fleur-de-lis on his uniforms. His manager, Frenchie Martin, is walking around with a sign that's saying the USA is not okay.
Because that's basically as mean as a Canadian.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure on the backside it probably said sorry.
Sorry.
Eventually, Frenchie Martin left Bravo. After Frenchie Martin left, Bravo joined Jimmy Hart's stable and paired up with a wrestler known as Earthquake very often.
Earthquake.
So they'd pull off the strongman gimmick together, letting Bravo do push-ups while Earthquake sat on his back. But Earthquake here is weighing 460 pounds, so he's keeping his feet on the floor to not put the entirety of his weight on his partner, because that's just way too much.
Again, it's a show, you guys, and these are big men who have to do a lot of physical activity. They're not actually going to damage each other. It's literally a sports star.
Yeah, it's more performance piece as well as sports, but it's everything. So this duo of Earthquake and Bravo team up, and they have a lengthy feud with Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior. Following WrestleMania 7, there's a loss in WrestleMania 7 where it causes Bravo to leave the WWF. According to Rick Martel, it's a quote, Dino had kind of painted himself into a corner. He tried to stay in the WWF, but he just couldn't. Vince didn't want to have him back. And Martel also recalled offering to team up with Bravo because he liked him. He offered to take all the bumps and let Dino do all his strongman stuff, and the two would just kind of work it out. Again, if you watch the documentary about Andre the Giant, they kind of have a choreography to all their matches. Rick here is willing to take the hits, allow Bravo to do the strongman stuff. They'd make it work. But McMahon still said he didn't want Dino. He didn't think that Dino would fit into their plans anymore.
Yeah, the worst fucking thing you can do is cross Vince McMahon Jr.
Yeah, and
and that's clearly
he's running this thing like his own personal empire. And his father built it, and it is an empire nowadays. It's making huge amounts of money.
Basically, what they're saying is Bravo wants to come back, and McMahon's just done. And if McMahon's done, you're done.
It's probably because Bravo is such a big face, and they're focusing on Hulk Hogan as the major face for WWF. But after he left the WWF, Bravo returns back to Canada, and he's playing his babyface role in a number of Canadian house shows again. He does a tour in 92. By April 1992, he's retiring back to Montreal, and he's just going to be training wrestlers. So he's kind of done with the whole traveling performance. So that's a very quick overview of a 20-year career in wrestling. It's over and done with very quickly, and Bravo wasn't much of a planner.
He didn't expect this at all. He clearly wanted to come back to wrestling, and they didn't want him.
He threw everything into what he was doing. He loved what he did. He enjoyed it, and he used the money he was making and kind of had the lifestyle to represent that he enjoyed it, like what he was doing and expected to be doing it. He had $1 million home, a multitude of nice cars, and he spent the money that he was making. He enjoyed his life. But after it kind of closed out, Bruno didn't really know what to do.
I mean, in everybody's eyes, Bruno's a dumb wrestler. A wrestler can't do anything but wrestling. What kind of day job do you want to get? They're not actually realizing what a great media asset these guys could be until, like you said, the guy that becomes a governor.
Jesse Ventura becomes a governor. You look at Schwarzenegger, all these strong men. They're showing that there's more to them. You look at, in this day and age, the biggest one we have is The Rock.
I mean, you probably don't even remember. Most people don't remember that's where he started.
Yeah.
You smell what The Rock is cooking?
The Rock was...
Why is The Rock cooking? But I don't know.
I don't know why he was cooking, but, he was definitely... he definitely played both sides of the field when he was in the WWF, but he moved his career from that performance because just the day and age that he existed in, we kind of know a little bit more about what's going on and became a professional actor.
Yeah, but at this time, that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
nobody's going to give Bravo a chance.
They're just seeing him as a big, dumb guy. By marriage, Bravo has an uncle in Vic Cantroni, who is very big, he's the head of the Montreal Mafia.
That's one way to say he's very big. Yeah, he's the fucking head.
Yeah, he's the mafia. Head of the mafia in Montreal. Granted, I didn't know Montreal had a mafia.
They shoot you in the face and then say sorry as they walk away.
That's why I'm confused by it. So at this point, it's towards the end of his career, and while even in Europe, Bravo knows that things are kind of coming to a close, and he turns to his friend Rick Martel and says, quote, "Rick, I know I could go into crime and do really good money, but I don't want to go that route. I know myself, and I know what kind of guy I am."
And, when he says that, Bravo does not have a good temper.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a fantastic wrestler, but in his outside life, if you mess with Bravo, he's gonna shut you down.
Yeah, he's definitely going to.
So he's saying, I can get into crime, but, I'm never gonna stop. Nothing's ever enough for me.
Yeah, and he'll just keep going. And that's... so at this point, we're kind of weird here because Vic Cantroni died in 1984, and the story continues on past that with Bravo being connected to the Mafia. So it's pretty clear that Bravo had been working for the Mafia for some time. At least the police suspected that because of the way the dates work and Bravo's actual connection to the Mafia. So, he might also be working outside the Mafia.
Which is, what he was actually talking to Rick Martel about. Hey, I know I can go into some real crime, but if I do that on my own...
Yeah, you don't cross the Mafia. You don't step out of the family. We've all seen movies, and they have to be based in some kind of truth. And there's a point in time where Dino has to go ask and borrow money from his mother. And he's, a 20-year... career wrestling star.
He's a grown man he used to have millions, and now he's got to go ask his mom for money, and it's just his fucking breaking point.
Yeah, it's his breaking point. So he finds himself jumping into the illegal cigarette trade. And yeah, I know what you're saying. Isn't that just for prisons? Not anymore. So essentially, in the 80s and 90s, the price of cigarettes skyrocketed. Fun fact, you can type in the price of cigarettes into Google, and you can find a link that will show you the cost of a pack of cigarettes the year that you were born in.
So sweet. It's literally the first fucking thing that pops up.
Yeah.
How much is a pack of cigarettes. Find out the year you were born, how much cigarettes. Why the fuck would I want to know that?
Some people like to do that. I know, like, my mother had a baby book for me, and it, like, had the
price.
price.
I hope she wrote the price of cigarettes in there.
She wrote the price of bread. There's a number of standards that you can use to understand how society is going.
Some people are just more classy than others.
Yeah, I mean, a loaf of bread in 86 versus a pack of cigarettes in 86. But in Canada in the late 80s, the Mulroney government upped tobacco taxes as a revenue generator to, cue the deficit. Quote, these measures, besides increasing revenues, complement the government's comprehensive strategy to reduce tobacco smoking in Canada. The cost of a carton of cigarettes, which is 200 cigarettes, was boosted 3 times in 6 years, bringing the amount up to $40 a carton in 1991. In 91, a 25-pack of cigarettes cost about $6, and that's up from $1 in 1980.
I mean, that's like a huge raise. Like, it's like them trying to tax you on soda now. Like, this is literally the government trying to claim, oh, we're just gonna try and get smoking down in our people, aka decide what our own people put in their damn bodies. But on top of it, what they're not saying is it's making them a shit ton of money.
Well, they're talking about how it's going to cue the deficit. It's like putting any kind of tax on it. But in comparison to what they're doing in Canada, in the U.S., the average pack of smokes was $1.53. By 92, it was $1.84. Like, we're still paying dirt cheap prices compared to the Canadians.
Because we're a tobacco country, man.
Yeah, I mean, our country was born on tobacco.
And hemp.
And hemp. But we're focusing on the tobacco right now.
Okay, sorry.
It's a very clear line between these two countries. And as a result, you could buy cigarettes, and this is what we're going to go over now. There's a typical smuggling operation that that was used to bring cigarettes into Canada. What would happen is distributors in the United States purchased Canadian cigarettes marked for export from tobacco companies. The cigarettes were stored in warehouses in the state of New York. From there, they'd be purchased legally by licensed tobacco dealers.
But those dealers are from the Akwesasne Reserve.
Yeah.
Which is a Native American reserve that literally borders on both sides of, like, Canada and America. So, like, they're not citizens of Canada. They're not citizens of America. And, like, reserves have their own laws.
They've got their own laws and their own borders. So, they can cross back and forth between the two nations without any issue. And what they would do is they'd purchase the cigarettes, and they were then smuggled by boat or snowmobile or on back roads.
Snowmobile.
Take your pick on how they got them into Canada. Dealers are paying $10 to $15 a carton, and they're reselling them smuggled for $26 to $30. So you're still saving, $10 to $14 on a carton of cigarettes.
And, like, I couldn't believe. I was like, really? Cigarettes? That's what we were illegally trading? But I asked my dad, because he grew up in Florida, and, like, he did say he remembered, like, you could go to the Seminole casinos, because they were considered to be controlled by the reservations.
Yeah.
And you just wouldn't pay taxes on your cigarettes. So, like, a cigarette would be even cheaper as long as you just went on the reservation. That was the kind of thing that was going on in the 80s and 90s. And it was weird. I even remembered, as a kid growing up in North Carolina, like, my friend's family would come down from Massachusetts and literally buy, like, shopping carts full of cigarettes. And I was like, what the crap are they doing? And it was just, even that distance caused the price to be different.
I had friends who they'd take summer vacations or winter breaks during college, and they'd come down to Florida, buy cigarettes, and then in North Carolina, there's, like, a huge cigar dealership. And they just pick up a bunch of cigars for, like, really dirty cheap and then drive them back up to Rhode Island. There's a lot of different stuff going on with this. And, you don't think about cigarettes, but it's a big thing. I mean, maybe it's just the current day and age. According to Martel, and this is going to be a quote from Martel from the 80s. We know it might not necessarily be PC, but we're just going to give you how he's saying it so we can have that down for posterity's sake. So this, again, a quote from Martel. He went to see the Indians. The Indians had the river so they could pass cigarettes across like crazy. Or arms, whatever. The Indians were big wrestling fans, So when they saw Dino, they were like, oh man! They started trading strictly with him. So Dino had the monopoly with the Indians. He started doing really well. After a while, the cigarette business was doing so great that the cocaine people started saying, hey, maybe there's some money in there for us too. So the big cocaine guy apparently went to see Dino and said, look, let me in on your cigarette deals, and I'll let you in on some cocaine deals. So what apparently happened is they did some kind of agreement. Dino had $400,000 shipment
oh my God.
in some warehouse somewhere, and it stayed there for like 3 days. And on the third day, when the cocaine guy went to pick it up, the police were there. So they were blaming each other. Dino is saying you should have picked it up on the first day and it would never have happened. You shouldn't have let it sit there. There's a lot of heat on Dino, and this was a week before he died. End quote.
Yeah, that was a long-ass quote.
So, that's just a big testimonial from Rick Martel, who's, he's the guy who's willing to dive into the ring with Dino. He's a big friend of Dino.
They're good friends.
And on March 10th, 1993, Bravo was at home enjoying probably the most Canadian thing ever.
Drinking syrup.
Almost. Hockey. I'm sure there's probably syrup and poutine around, but he's watching hockey. His wife had left for the day with their 6-year-old daughter to go to a ballet class. And this is where things kind of get a little bit of hearsay, but someone knocked on the door and was let into the house. And we can assume it's someone that Dino knew because there's not tracks going through the snow, it's going up. There's no struggle to get in the house.
There's no breaking in.
So Dino opened the door knowing who this person was. They went back into the television room and continued to watch the hockey game. Now, at one point, this guest got up, went to leave the room, probably to go to the restroom or something, turned instead to go behind Bravo and shot him in the back of the head twice, execution style.
Jesus.
Now, in the house, there are 17 empty shell casings from a .380 and a .22 all around the floor. Bravo was shot 7 times in the head and 10 times in, the abdomen and neck and chest.
Holy fuck. So he got shot 17 times.
Yeah, 17 times.
Like, that's fucking overkill.
It's definitely overkill. He's being shot in the abdomen, chest, and the neck. There's 15 shells from a .380 and 2 shells from a .22. These weapons are found on the floor near the chair. There are no fingerprints left. And when Dino's wife came home, she found him in the same chair that he was in when she left. The remote was still in his hand and blood was everywhere. That's
so nuts. This is so professional, though.
It's definitely professional.
There's no fingerprints anywhere, not on the door, not on the, the furniture, like not even on the weapons or the shell casings.
Yeah.
Like somebody knew even then, like, I gotta cover my butt.
These weapons are left there and it just makes things so much more hard to track because the weapons are still there. There's nothing that you're looking for. Police are searching the area, and this is how we know that is probably someone that Bravo knew because there's no forced entry to the home. There were no local calls about gun noise, so they may have been doing something to silence the weapons or make them at least more muffled.
Yeah, even if you've got some property on you, 17 shots is gonna make somebody sit up and pay attention if they can hear them.
And, we are calling that this is an overkill tactic, and it's definitely something that the mafia would do. And it's something that they're doing to send a message to somebody.
And can I just tell you my own opinion on this one?
Absolutely.
Okay. Look, there's 2 different guns, right? Bravo clearly knew who was coming up to his house because there's no forced entry, and he let them in.
Yeah.
If somebody breaks into your house, you're not going to just sit in your chair and continue to watch hockey. The game's not that fucking good.
Yeah.
So my opinion is it's not one guy, it's 2.
Yeah.
And
for 2 weapons, it's got to be 2 guys.
Especially, it's so weird. So think about this. So I'm thinking he's sitting there, he's watching TV. Right? He's got 2 people on the couch, and the first one goes, I gotta take a piss. And he gets up and goes to act like he's leaving the room, which would not cause Bravo to turn his head.
No.
Who gives a shit where you're going watching the hockey game, right?
Yeah.
The guy goes behind him, shoots him execution style twice. Bam, bam. Those are the only 2 bullets that come out of that weapon.
Yeah.
Every other bullet comes out of the other weapon. So 2 bullets versus 15. So I think the other guy waited for the signal, waited for him to get shot, stood up, and just started pumping bullets into him from the front.
Probably.
And I think, we know that he didn't see it coming because literally when they found the body, he still has the remote kind of limply in his hand.
Yeah, so he hasn't, seized up. He's not
if he
had
seen this coming, naturally the body, the tissues and the muscles would have tensed up, and he would have still been either the remote would have been gone,
or he'd be gripping
it so hard. But he's just kind of sitting there. It's like he never even knew it was coming.
Yeah.
So why the overkill? Maybe it was to send a fucking message.
Yeah.
I mean, why leave the weapons? I don't know. That kind of seems like a waste of a weapon to me. But the fact is nothing happens. Like, we still, to this day, this happened, back in, 1992?
93, I think.
We don't know who killed him, and I don't think anybody's looking into it anymore.
Yeah, we've got rumors. We know that the tactic seems in line with what the mafia would do. We know that Bravo pissed off a cocaine guy, and...
Which you should never, ever
in my opinion, a cigarette smuggler is going to be a lot less crazy than a cocaine smuggler.
I don't know, $400,000.
I mean, $400,000 is $400,000 a product. But still, I just feel like anyone who's going to be dealing with, bringing cocaine all the way up to Canada, you're going to be some serious smuggler.
I mean, he's working for the mafia, but the thing is now he's working on his own, too. So not only did he cross a cocaine guy and make a bad deal,
and
he's fucking over the mafia by trying to make his own money and not cut them in on the deal. It could literally, be anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody that comes across any of these dealings. As smart as he was to be a media guy, the guy didn't know how to do some crimes, and it caused him to get murdered.
Yeah, you can be an actor, but, being smart and being savvy are two different things. But, he knew how to work a crowd, but he didn't necessarily know how to work the mafia.
And, he's still loved. And he's clearly loved because every year on his birthday and every year on, the death of his... Well, every year on his death. Yeah, the wrestling community comes together, they write these articles about him, and they remember him because he was a fucking great.
And he was the type of guy who was a family man. He loved his wife, he loved his daughter, he's doing what he can to provide for himself and his family.
And I think that's how the wrestling world just wants to remember him. But
he did everything he could, and that's, again, this is another bizarre story. You've got a 20-year storied career that ends in a hit from the mafia because...
Possible hit
from the mafia.
Please don't kill us, mafia. And, I think all in all, just to get back to the point of the whole sports story, is these two deaths, these two crimes were completely different. But in the end, I think your faith in both, athletic stars, just, your faith's been broken, and it's been broken for two different reasons.
Yeah.
And maybe we should stop treating athletes like they're superhuman and start treating them like people.
I definitely agree on that one.
But anyways, thanks for sticking in there for episode 2. We're going to upload it as soon as we can, and hopefully you guys will check us out on all our media sites.
Yeah, so that's going to be at Snafud Podcast, SNAFUD Podcast, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and SoundCloud. And we'd like to hear some comments from you guys after you've listened to our episode, this one and our first. So if you don't mind, just send us a message or drop a comment on our social media, and we'll be happy to hear from you and respond.
All right, thanks for sticking with us.
So that's episode 2, guys. Thank you very much.
Bye.